Hello everyone, Vanguard of Valor here, and welcome back to the Sunless Sea. It's been a while since I've recorded anything, and I figured I'd get back to something that I'm particularly interested in at the moment, and so we're back on the Sunless Sea. While this game may not be the most popular thing we're doing on the channel, I am particularly fond of it, and I have a craving to play some more right now, and so here we are. I've also recently been attempting a little bit of experimentation with Fallen London, the browser-based text game that was the precursor to Sunless Sea. So I've been experimenting a little bit with that. So there may or may not be a few new stories that I've connected. There's also a new holiday-related story that's been added to the game, so we may encounter that as well, although now that December has passed, it's hard to say. It may be something that only exists right around the time when you might expect. As it stands, though, we'll make our way back to Fallen London. We have a couple of interesting goals in mind today, but all of them involve going back and forth to the Empire of Hands, which is quite a journey, so we're going to need to make sure that we're properly prepared. In order to do that, we'll try and pick up as many pieces of information along the way as we possibly can, so we can provide a little bit better for our return journeys. The lookout shouts. Far above, the false stars in the cavern roof are shifting. A rare and ominous event. What now? Well, we can forbid them to look. We can't really stop them, but we can at least discourage discussion. They won't like it, but it's safer. Or we can record the change and assign a name. It's a matter of luck. It could go either way. Let's give it a try. The new shape seems well-omened. Our crew may be cheered. Who knows? One Zailor claims it resembles the sun. Another, a Hindu mandala cross. A third suggests the rose window of Chartres Cathedral. This excites mockery. Nevertheless, the reaction is positive. We've lost 3 terror, and we were fortunate. I'll take it. Good luck is always good luck. Let's stop in, though, and see what the Sisterhood has to say. We still have a fair amount of fuel and supplies, so it's not as though we're in any urgent need to get back to town, but we do have a couple different things we'd like to accomplish. Here, the Grim Sisters' lair. We'll compile our port report, because why wouldn't we? Nothing is happening, as always. The sisters watch us. We feel their eyes. The sea crashes on the rocks, withdraws. The fortress stands stolid as the last year of a century. The greatest peril you risk here is a certain purpleness of prose. Well, such it is. Let's watch the convent and see if we see anything with our ability to discover new adventures. Dangerous training. Like huge and deadly herons, the sisters stalk along the very tops of the walls. You watch through a spyglass as they leap and whirl, slashing at each other with a variety of frightening weapons. God, one of them just turned a somersault. But that's all we have for now. And so we head back towards London. Most of these destinations on our way are mere stopping points on our journey, but there's nothing wrong with checking out what we can find along our path. Restless nights. In the watches of the night, we pad softly past the hatch to the crew quarters. A man cries out softly in his sleep, desperately. Another. Let's inquire about their dreams the next morning. We have a 91% chance of success, so what did they see?
Eyes. And a face. The whole neath lit up like a snuffer mask. There's something in the roof, Captain. It is the roof. It's watching us. Eyes and a face. Eyes and a face.
Yes, you say softly. You lay your hand on the Zailor's burning forehead. There are storms in the roof. Hush. We won't join them yet. Well, we've gained 10 terror and 20 fragments, but we succeeded in our challenge. We'll be back in port soon, though, and hopefully our terror will dissipate when we do. Arrive there safely. We have a couple different objectives for our journey here, not least of which is that I'd like to upgrade our ship, finally, if we can ever amass the funds. It is a great cost to acquire more valuable ships, but if it can be done, it will undoubtedly be worth it. We discovered a pirate steam pinnacle, and we're in battle now. Well, this pirate steam pinnace will have to deal with us fighting them quite quickly, I think, because they're not going to last very long. Not very long at all. But we can claim their supplies and see what they were carrying. We can loot and scuttle this vile old vessel, and inside we found a cache of curiosities. What a surprise. Let's see what's inside. The source of sustenance, the fundamental element of cargo. Nothing too exciting, but we did find a crate of fuel. Coke, like coal, but more so, as the Department of Infernal Rarefactions would have it. But we've gained a fuel, and that'll help us make it back to land. Not that we were ever in any true danger, since we have reached quite close to fallen London, but the more fuel we have, the better. Let's stop in briefly at Hunter's Keep as well, and then we'll be on our way. The sisters have always been informative to us, so it might be worth our while to see what they know. Plus, they'll likely resolve much of our hunger as we sit for luncheon. And so here we are. We've reached Hunter's Keep yet again. With whom shall we luncheon today? We have a variety of options for what we want to do here, but I think what we'll do at the moment is, take luncheon with Lucy, the middle sister, sunny, restless, and prone to giggles. She tells us a daft tale. Oh, game might have crashed. No, we're good. Lucy leans over and whispers to us confidentially a complex story about a butler, a pig, an inheritance. We don't follow all the details of the plot, but somehow the pig ends up in an attic and the butler in a vicar's bed. Candles flicker, dishes enter and leave, and the wind butts gently at the window panes. By the time the plum pudding arrives, we're as cheerful as we've been in months. We lost 36 hunger, we've gained a memory of distant shores, we've gained Stone's attention, we've gained a supply, we've lost 10 terror, and something has changed. That's unusual. A hump of dark rock, swathed in mist, like 100 other Untersea islands. A grand house rises on the rock, a silhouette, empty of lights. The uncut grass on the lawn bends, rises, bends again in the breeze. You smell damp stone and, faintly, blood. If we go up to the house, we crunch across the gravel, up to the door. The brass of the door knocker is tarnished. The paint is beginning to peel in the salt sea air. No one answers, but the door is unlocked. Well, we have a good chance of success at whatever we're doing here. Let's investigate. Words in darkness. The hall is dark. The parlor, too. There are signs of disturbance here and there. A smashed cup. An overturned piano stool. Scratches on the walls. You bend to pick up a piece of paper and hold it to the light. It is an unfinished poem. You think the handwriting may be Phoebe's. The absent moon, the gnawing hunger in the heart, the well, the sea, a great many crossings out. There are sounds from downstairs, from the kitchen. You push open the door, cautiously. Something clings to the ceiling. Something turns yellow eyes to you and hisses. Well, we've gained 10 fragments. Something has changed. We've gained terror. Well then, the thing in the kitchen. That's quite unusual, isn't it? The house seems empty, all is still. Why, then, do you have the sense that there's not much time remaining? We can loot the house. Musical instruments, curios, jewelry, even Phoebe's paintings will sell. It's robbery, not salvage, but if you don't, someone else may. Or we can search the house with a 50% chance of success to discover what we can about what happened here, but more importantly, the thing in the kitchen. The yellow-eyed maid clings to the ceiling like a lizard, fierce and wiry in her ragged uniform. She hisses furiously. When you advance a step, she scurries away to the far end of the room, still on the ceiling, weeping. Well, something very strange is happening here. With our heart's quality, we have the ability to get about a coin flip to success. It's hard to say whether or not we'll be able to get away with discovering what's happening here, but let's take a chance and try to charm her down. Down she comes. We try to question her.
Those poor sailors,
She spits. You realize that in all the time you spent at Hunter's Keep, she had never spoken.
The poor sailors. I didn't come here for this. Damn them to the well.
She's finished the meat. She returns to the ceiling in a single, inhuman bound. It cost us a supply to lure her down, but she's now gone. We have gained 50 fragments, and a little bit of a mystery. We could try to coax her down again. I had no idea this would take food. Normally it tells you, but such it is. Let's search the house, though, before we go. It's only a 50% chance of having success. I'm not keen on looting the house at the moment, but I'd like to see, maybe, what happened here. Let's search the house. A distant song. You cock your head and listen. Someone is singing, a woman's voice. Soft o'er the fountain, lingering falls the southern moon. The sound takes you up the winding stairs to the turret at the back of the house. You try the door at the top. Locked. The sound ceases. It was Phoebe's voice. You call out to her. What's happened? We wanted their stories, she explains reasonably. We only wanted their stories in the beginning. We get so starved for stories out here, but then Lucy... She breaks down in sobbing.
Want us to break down the door?
Your bosun whispers. While you're considering the answer, one of your crew swears and points. Smoke is leaking from beneath the door. I deserve an ending, Phoebe calls out. When you press your hand to the door, you can feel the heat on your palms. Well, we've gained 2 terror, 40 fragments, a tale of terror, and the house on Hunter's Keep is aflame. Phoebe, the arsonist. The fire begins in Phoebe's turret room, but it spreads quickly. Sailors tumble, choking from the door as the smoke billows out. The yellow-eyed maid leaps from a window and streaks across the lawn on all fours. We could watch, or we could try to save Phoebe. We have a 64% chance of success, and so far we've been lucky. We might as well try. She may not be happy for us to save her, but we're gonna give it a shot. A desperate rescue. A bucket chain passes up water from the Z, enough to slow the flames a fraction, and to soak the cloths you wrap yourself in. You dash through the flames, your skin crisping, eyebrows sizzling. Your hair grows back patchy after. Phoebe is slumped against the wall. You seize her, sling her over a shoulder, dash out. The spine of the house breaks with a roar as the roof falls in. Sparks fly up towards the false stars so far above. The death of the house takes hours, but it is total. Only a cindered shell remains. Phoebe weeps when she wakes, racking sobs that shake her body. You should have left me, is all that she will say for the longest time. Her face is horribly burned. She goes bandaged after, like the half-dead of the tomb colonies. Perhaps she's half-dead herself. It can be difficult to tell in the Neath. Well then. We've lost 5 terror. The house on Hunter's Keep is a blackened shell. We have 1 port report on Keep's End. We've succeeded in our Veils challenge. We've lost a crew, and we now have 1 of the scarred sister. Well, isn't that a thing? Hunter's Keep in ruins. We can pick over the ruins of the great house, or we can excavate the cellar, should we need to. We have everything we need now, except for the Foxfire candles. Well then. Let's pick over the ruins of the great house, and see what happened here, what we can find in the mess. The lawns are weedy meadows walked by the wind. The gravel paths have sunk to mud. The house is a jumble of charred stones and timbers. But as we pick over the ruins of the great house, we find no one has come to reclaim Hunter's Keep, despite its proximity to London. The place has an eerie reputation. It's difficult to see why today. The place is as peaceful as a folly in a park. The air is still. Far across the water, the lights of London grow. We've gained an outlandish artifact, a memory of distant shores, and lost 5 terror. The lights were on here. That's wrong. As you can see by this image. How many times can we check this place? Let's look in again on the ruins. Has anything changed? Can't imagine it would. We haven't even left. No. Tumbled stones. The garden unwinding gently into disorder, week on week. Nothing more. Well, Hunter's Keep has been here for a long time. But now I'm not so sure things will work out as we thought they might. We already have our mirror catch box full of dream snakes. I imagine we could not get another one, since we already have one. We don't really need to return here, but the prompt is there, which is strange. What we're going to do now, though, is take another quick look through our inventory. Apparently, we have a certain bandaged companion now. Are they an officer? They are. The scarred sister. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. She was the youngest sister of the Hunter's Keep 3. Now her home is gone. She will not show her face nor speak of what occurred, but she is prepared to use her education to help heal our crew. She offers us 5 hearts and acts as a doctor aboard. We have 3 now, which is quite remarkable, but interesting. Does she have anything to say to us? She's usually in the sick bay, or up on deck, listening to the wind, watching for the rare storms of the Untersee. We could invite her to dine with us and talk about storms. We could increase our hearts with her, for a secret, or we could ask her to dine and talk about what happened at Hunter's Keep. These are interesting questions indeed, but I think not the time for them now. I think now we return to port, so let us sail. That was an unexpected surprise. Hunter's Keep is now a burned-out wreckage, and we will no longer be able to return there so freely for supplies and interesting stories. Perhaps that's for the best. But who knows what else might be lurking there? We only found one of the sisters, and we never did find the well. But here we are in London. No major concerns. Plenty of fuel and supplies left to take us back to the docks. We arrive back in fallen London. with our hearts appeased. But let us see. There are many things that appear to be waiting for us. Fallen London. Deep, dark, and marvelous. All voyages start here. Voyages, I believe. And this is where all successful voyages end. We've delivered our souls for the blind bruiser.
What a propitious and encouraging occasion this is to meet again, here, in this place which has been so very fortunate for us both. Allow me to shake you warmly by the hand, since you have demonstrated your unswerving commitment to fair dealing and honest conveyance. Very good. My patron will toast you.
So we can accept payment here, or we can refuse payment. We can either say that we do need to cover our costs, and we'll take whatever they've offered us. Or we can refuse payment, and say that this pays our debt, and we're done. It's difficult to say what we'd like best here. This underground contract may be very good for getting us the funds we need in order to acquire our new ship, but something tells me that working with the blind bruiser for too long might not end so well for us. So I think, this once, we are done. We refuse payment, announce to the blind bruiser that this pays our debt, and we're done. Noble disappointment.
I will not pretend this has improved my evening. On the contrary, it has left a deep sadness in my heart. Notwithstanding, howsoever, I might say you have acquitted yourself honourably, and I do not think my patron will find the need to pursue the matter further. Not at this time. As long as you keeps your mouth. He leans close. Tight snap shut. Good night.
So it looks like we're out safely. We may never discover the true secrets, or dark underbelly that the criminal underground would open to us, but we might live safer and longer as a result. What else can we take a look at here? Let's take a look at our lodgings. We can peruse our comprehensive port report in private. A comprehensive port report of the Empire of Hands. That'll give us a single secret rather than a fee. That is interesting. We did visit all of the Empire of Hands, and I'm sure we can get a quite large fee for that, and I'd rather get that than the secret right now. We can also read the morning papers to acquire more news, which we will absolutely do. Nothing particularly unusual here, but the Connaught is threatening war. They always are. London's colonies on the Carnelian coast want independence. They always do. The Untersee, the paper's report, has undergone another alteration. Not yet it hasn't, you'd know. Oh ho, a promotional coupon from Miss Plenty's Provisioners for a half-cask of salt herring. You could use that. That was a good one there. We've acquired a supply for free. We have a recent news, and we've lost a terror. That'll come in handy, I think. What else can we do here? Nothing else at the moment, but let's see. Let's see what other things there are to do. We should drop in with a dark-spectacled admiral. We have quite a few interesting pieces of information for him, so let's submit our port reports. First, we'll talk about some of the mysterious places we've been, because there are quite a few of them. We talk about Demeaux Island. There you go. Our visit to Demeaux Island has been confirmed by the Admiralty Records Office. We've gained a fuel and 20 echoes. We talk about Mount Palmerston. We've gained another fuel and 40 echoes. Again, we've been here before. Quaker's Haven. No great news here. Another fuel, another 5 echoes. Godfall. Apparently, we haven't been here before.
Pirate monks. I honestly have no idea what we're supposed to do about pirate monks. What are they up to?
We have a new accomplishment, having surveyed Godfall. We've gained a fuel. And we've gained 30 echoes. No new favors, though. We can tell about Hunter Keep's End. This is an unusual one. Let's see what they have to say about this. I trust the sisters are keeping well. They are citizens of her enduring majesty, notionally. This is ghastly news. The poor girls. We had warned them they weren't safe, but it had been so long, I thought... Well, it's done. Thank you. I will have to look into the matter of a supply post. We've gained a fragment, we've gained a fuel, and 20 echoes, and now they know that Hunter's Keep has come to a horrible end. We tell about Nuncio, which is nothing particularly new, although apparently we didn't have that accomplishment yet. We've gained a fuel and 30 echoes. Abbey Rock we tell about as well. Apparently we haven't been there either. Somehow I doubt all these new accomplishments. We've gained a fuel and 20 echoes again. Pigmote Isle grants us another fuel, another 10 echoes, making our money piece by piece as we approach the more interesting revelations. We tell them about Polythreme, where we acquired 50 echoes and another fuel for our information. Let's tell them about Wisdom and Irem. Wisdom grants us another 30 echoes and a fuel. Irem grants us 20 echoes and fuel. These are all places we've been before, I believe, but the Empire of Hands... This is news.
Oh, goodness. What are those accursed monkeys up to these days? You didn't bring any of them back with you, did you?
Well,
such a ghastly place.
A pause. You know, there was somebody here asking about it only recently.
Delightful lady, as I recall. Most delightful. Yes, I shall take the liberty of forwarding her your address.
Well, something new awaits in our lodgings. This I knew about. We've gained 300 echoes and a fuel and a favor. And we now have something new awaiting us. For now, we'll leave the Admiralty, though. We don't need to be here anymore. We can deliver our clay men to where they were meant to be brought. That should get us a good amount of reward. One by one, they rise, uncomplainingly, with no trace of stiffness or discomfort from the long voyage. The deck resounds beneath their heavy tread. A Shroomyard manager waits on dock, tapping her foot.
"About time," she says. "Here's your payment. Come along now, you. There's a good construct."
And we've gained 120 echoes for our time. Well then, we could hire on more crew, but I think at 8 we're fine for now. However, there's a lot of other new things waiting for our attention. We head back to our lodgings, where we have an invitation to Benthic College. Our travels have caught someone's attention. Benthic College is pleased to invite you to an exclusive and educational evening with Lady Agatha Treadgold, delightful adventuress and raconteuse of thrilling true tales of feist and spunk. On the back is a scribbled note. "Come speak to me afterwards, darling. Opportunity beckons." Why not? Why not? We attend the lecture. Benthic is the most open-minded of the London colleges. You find yourself waiting for the lecture in a queue of students, devils and bohemians, observed with some scorn by passers-by in Somerset colours. The delightful adventuress. Her feet have trodden lands most in the Neath have never even heard of. Her eyes have seen every opportunity for fame and glory while there. Whoever she is, she knows how to pack a hall. Not a seat is empty as she takes the stage. The fine cuisine of the Chelinet, the darling clay men, all but a prelude, my dears. Her stories tend towards the fanciful and conveniently unprovable, but the delightful adventuress has the credulous audience spellbound for hours. Many of her tales of monsters and lost cities have a certain common theme. She visited them ahead of a certain Lady Leonora Fortescue, the quite adorable, daring archaeologist with whom she sparked a bracing rivalry back in finishing school. The rest are tales bitter as the sourest grapes, of being cheated of triumphs by the very same Fortescue, whose fanciful fictions are fit only for the penny dreadfuls. By the end, her stories are notably more bitter than boastful. She still receives a standing ovation. The delightful adventuress's masked clay man, Barnabas, escorts us to the principal of Benthic's study, where she sits sipping brandy by the fire. "Ah, my dear Capitano!" Firelight glints in her eyes as she raises the glass. "I hear you are recently returned from the empire of, monkeys? Hands. Yes, of course. It is a rare breed that can make such a voyage. Foolhardy, too, perhaps." She sips her brandy. "I wish to charter your no doubt fine vessel to that primitive little island chain. There I shall find what I need to show up the infernal Leonora Fortescue once and for all, and you—" The delightful adventuress squints, sizing you up. "Sufficient compensation will not be a difficulty. A most mutually beneficial agreement, you will agree." "Well, sure, we can take her there." The delightful adventuress drains her glass dry. "Then we shall see you upon the morrow for the voyage. Barnabas, pack my valise. Adventure awaits." Well then, we have a delightful adventuress. Fantastic. Is she an officer for now? No, she's simply a passenger. There she is. The Neath's greatest explorer, in her own mind at least. Have to take her and her bodyguard to the Empire of Hands. Well, most unusual. Before we go, we'll do a couple of the things here so that we can start off next adventure by simply heading out. So if we look at the alarming scholar, we have a number of potential things we could pass in. We have some valuable things as well, captivating treasures and judgment's eggs, but I don't think we'll pass all of these along. We have extraordinary implications, we have intriguing snippets. Some of these we will certainly come back here and trade in the future. It's good to see that we have quite a few interesting things, though. Quite a few indeed. The Venturer's desire, we have none of the things he desires. We don't have strange catches or hunting trophies. We don't have 7 Scintillac anymore. Once upon a time we did, but not for now. However, there's also this new story. Midnight. A presence dominates your lodgings. Its fur-trimmed robe is the red of blood on snow. Over your chair hangs a familiar brown sack, bulging with offerings. Londoners give generously to the crimson beast of winter. Anything to be rid of it. The figure stares into the fireplace, smelling of soft musk and harsh ammonia.
"I require a sturdy vessel and a captain. Yours comes recommended. You will suffice."
"Mr. Sachs, take my service." An ancient contract, words not to be spoken lightly. Or, "Mr. Sachs, take your leave." Will not be intimidated in her own lodgings. Let us take his service. I'd give him our service, rather, and see what he wishes. A deal is struck. The beast withdraws its hand from the fireplace, examining it. Packed lacquer, 'neath snow. It disappears back into the incarnadine robe.
3 deliveries by your release. Do not tarry. You have much to lose.
We are in the service of Mr. Sachs, and Mr. Sachs has boarded our ship. Well then. The crimson beast of winter lurks in our hold. This is not a healthy situation for us, our ship, or our crew. The creature calls for us. It is time to begin. What do you wish? Deliver hunger to Khan's Heart or Pigmote Isle. Ooh. A hunger that can never be satiated. Mr. Sachs is waiting, clutching what looks like a leg of lamb. The meat is rotten. The bone is well chewed.
A fool sought a name that devours. It devoured him. A lifetime's wealth, wasted on cravings that can never be satiated. When all was eaten, he stripped the meat from his fingers in search of solace. Still, the hunger gnawed and screamed in his belly. He thought this pitiful offering of poison might free him. Debts are not so easily paid.
Well, we have to make a delivery to the Khan's Heart or to Pigmote Isle. Interesting. We'll have to come back and do these things another time, because at the moment our options are limited. What we will do before we leave, though, is buy a number of supplies. Buy some foxfire candles for the road. I have a feeling we might need some. And perhaps another flare as well. I have a feeling they'll come in very handy indeed. And while there might be other interesting things to acquire at the moment, I think this will work out well for us. Let's buy a flare. Now, I think this is where we'll have to end for today. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. This has been Vanguard of Valor. Thank you for watching another episode of Sunless Sea, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, goodbye.